Okay.
Hi, CJ. What brings you in today?
Yeah, thanks for seeing me. I've been just been going through a whole lot. Recently I made this new friend named John, and he's like the greatest guy in the world, or at least he was the greatest person in the world. When I met him, I was like, oh my gosh, we have everything in common. Have you ever I don't know if you've ever met somebody that you're like, oh my gosh, this person is like my exact same person. Like we like all the same things and we have similar upbringings. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've only known you for a couple of days, but I feel like I've known you my whole life. So it was great. But then all of a sudden, this guy, John, was like pressuring me all the time, asking me to borrow stuff and like coming over when I didn't want him to, and it was totally the worst. So we get in this huge fight and we're said like pretty mean things to each other. And so, of course, afterwards, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst person in the world. I've been super mean to this person. How do I like treat my best friend like this? This is like someone that totally gets me. And so it's kind of embarrassing even to tell you. Like, you probably think I'm like some super lame emotional person, right? Just like telling you all this stuff.
No, absolutely not. Just keep telling yourself. Tell me more about that.
Okay. So I don't know, like sometimes I just will feel like so bad about myself, where I'm just like, what is wrong with me? And like I'll, go shopping to try and make myself feel better. Or like if I can't like buy something new for myself or go to like a super nice restaurant, my day is super miserable, you know? Um, I don't know. It's like I try so hard to love people and I feel like I have so much to offer and like nobody ever appreciates me, you know?
Well, I want you to know that I definitely appreciate you expressing those emotions. That's bold. That that takes courage. And I show that you have that strong connection and you're willing to take that step of leap for anyone, really. And that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that, and yeah, sometimes I just feel like people don't appreciate me, like my friends will get like all mad at me. And sometimes I'm like, this is why I don't hang out with you guys. But then I'll get nervous that they're gonna like, just get fed up with me and decide they don't want to be my friend anymore,
Mm.
Um, and sometimes it's like that. But then other times, it's like we have so much fun together and we like connect and relate really well. So it gets super complicated.
What do you mean by complicated?
Yeah, I think it's just where I can't figure out, how to be, like sometimes things are I'm getting along great with my friends, and then other times it's like super terrible. And I don't know if it's like am I the problem or are they the problem? Like, do I just need to find other friends or what's the situation? And then I meet new people like this guy John. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like a close friend of mine, and it goes well, but then it starts going terrible.
Mm. So it's all that built up expectations, and then you feel like you were let down. And it's like basically you felt like you were the problem, but it could have just been easily that John had an off day that day, or you even have an off day. That's typical. People have off days. Do you ever feel like going back after that or going to see John after like that weird connection?
Yeah, I think sometimes I just like don't, you know, want to talk about it or I don't know how to deal with it. So I'll just sort of like let it, be for a while. I'll like let it calm down and then just like slowly enter back in. Um, and then nobody ever brings it up and we just kind of like move on.
Do you ever try to bring it up?
Um, tried to bring it up a couple times, but sometimes it's just really awkward.
So when do you usually try to bring it up?
Um, I think when I'm starting to feel lonely, like if I'm feeling like, well, I haven't talked to this person in a while, and so things are really bad, and I'm feeling like, oh, I don't have any friends anymore, and so I better like reach out, and try to like patch things up.
Mm. And you want to keep that connection, but it's kind of like you feel like that kind of tears it apart.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I just feel like, I'm just sort of like it's like ticking time bomb, and I am so emotional, and I'm gonna say the wrong thing again, and then it's just gonna start all over.
So, what do you do when you feel like kind of like that buildup coming up? Do you take deep breaths? Do you try to relax yourself?
I don't think I've ever thought about that before. I don't think I've ever like thought about my breathing.
Because I think breathing really would help. And just even like sometimes you have to process your thoughts before you speak. Because, speaking just, you can end up saying the wrong thing. And that could
Hmm.
be scary too. Because then you're like pondering the entire day, thinking, oh, I said something wrong. So just taking that breath and just making sure that you relax all of your nerves and all of your muscles, and then you are able to step back into that situation.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that could be good because sometimes I just like, say the first thing that comes to my mind,
Mm. And has
or I feel like if I
anyone,
don't say it now, I'm never gonna get to say it.
yeah, yeah, has anyone brought that up to you?
Yeah, sometimes people say, you're like that I'm a little too much, or that,
Mm.
it's like coming on too strong, or, just relax, it's not that big of a deal, you know.
And how does that make you feel when they say that?
Um, I think I feel like like I'm too much for people, like
Mm.
I'm too big, like my emotions are too big, my like highs are too high, my lows are too low or something, and like people just can't handle me.
And that must be hard.
Hmm.
Well, CJ, I think we should think about for the next session on how to make sure those highs and lows are monitored and what would make the that process go. And what I think what we'll do is I'll give you an assessment next time. How would you feel about taking an assessment just to know about your how you're feeling, just to monitor how you're doing that day?
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay. Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.